In a world full of really bad movies and some really great movies, two men stand among them all and will tell you the good from the bad. It's time for Show and Tell with your hosts, Jesse and Dan.
Yo, that's what's up.
That's awesome.
I think we're supposed to talk over this.
That makes sense.
But I just want to listen to it.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing it.
And the awesome fade. Special thanks to my brother for putting that together for us. My name is Jesse Hughes.
And as always, I am Daniel A. Gilmore.
And you're listening to Show and Tell.
Podcast about movies.
Oh, snap. What are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982.
Wait, I thought it was 2011.
No, you messed up. Pulling a Dan.
That's why this movie was so terrible. No, I did not watch the new one.
I've heard really mixed things on the prequel.
I'll definitely watch it now. Yeah, I mean, general consensus was that it was bad. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard really bad things about it, but then as I was doing some research online, a lot of people were saying they actually really enjoyed it, and it's like a fan film, essentially.
It's a sequel, isn't it?
No, it's a prequel.
Oh, it's a prequel. Okay, yeah. Interesting.
There is a sequel video game, though, from, I got the note here, it's 2002.
On what systems? PS2?
It was PS2, yeah. Xbox, and PC. I've actually played it. It was pretty good.
Huh. Was it a third person, like...
Yeah, it's a third person survival
Resident Evil
horror
style, yeah.
It's not really Resident Evil style. It's all about... It's the same thing. It, like, focuses on that paranoia.
Okay.
Of just like, oh, are they...
Like Eternal Darkness?
No, like Eternal Darkness is its own
was
thing.
Way too good.
It's such a good game.
You can't compare anything to that. You really can't. It really is its own thing. So this was 1982, right?
Yes.
34 years ago. Before I was born.
Same here.
So my overall experience with this movie was, for the most part, split right down the middle in terms of what I did like about it and what I didn't like about it. And I think there was a lot of buildup for me in my mind because this is a movie that my brother has been talking about loving for several years now. I think 5 or 6 years. I feel like he only saw it recently, or maybe he saw it when he was little and then rewatched it and really appreciated it. So... but we'll get into that as we go through the movie. But John Carpenter, I really enjoyed the directing. Can you tell me about what else he's done? Because I don't know that I've seen anything else.
Most famously probably for Halloween.
Okay.
But he also... This is actually considered the first of his Apocalypse trilogy, which followed Prince of Darkness and then In the Mouth of Madness, which is like my favorite movie he's done.
So they're a trilogy for him, as in the way the...
yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm talking about.
The Cornetto trilogy.
The Cornetto trilogy. I couldn't think of it.
Or the Colors trilogy.
Yeah, so they don't have anything to do with each other, but they had a similar theme
which was like the end of the world.
Was it the same actors? The way the Cornetto?
No.
Okay.
He used Kurt Russell, though, in Escape from New York.
Was that in that trilogy, or that's just another movie of his?
Thing.
Okay, cool.
He directed that as well.
So speaking of reusing actors, the beginning reminded me of... And this is a movie that came after, but reminded me of Signs. So the beginning of the movie, the credits, it's just really eerie, moody music with just the credits, and there's nothing going on. We're not seeing anything happen during the credits. It's just kind of setting the tone, and that's what Signs did. And Signs was one of the first movies I saw that did that, but I knew it was doing it, aping from older horror movies, and this is one of them, and I appreciate seeing this because this is clearly something that influenced the moodiness of Signs. And that's what the beginning reminded me of in Signs. M. Night Shyamalan in his early career was using actors, that he had used in his previous films.
But yeah, you mentioned the opening title credit, the sequence, whatever. It actually is, they redid the title sequence from the original one, where the thing, comes up.
With the spaceship shooting through the air?
No, just like the thing, the title.
Oh.
The title card.
What? So which one did I see?
You saw the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
But this is actually a remake.
The 1982 movie is a remake. Okay.
It's
like a shot-for-shot remake, or
no. Watch the original; it's garbage.
Is it? When was it done? 50s?
Yeah, it was 51, I think.
Oh wow.
Say.
Okay.
I actually didn't I didn't take any notes on that specifically, but it's based on a book called Who Goes There.
Was it black and white?
Yeah.
Okay.
The 50s one.
And who did it? Was it anyone notable or?
Like I said, I didn't take as many notes on that, which I, in hindsight, should have.
Yeah. So then they redid it with the modern technology.
So, my first note is just that spaceship painted.
Yeah, there's a couple of painted shots.
Yeah, it looks so good.
When we actually see the spaceship in the snow again is another painted shot. But yeah, it looks really good. They did it in Star Wars, and I mean, it really worked there too. And the thing is, like, all I knew about the movie was what you told me initially when I asked you if my mom and my wife, Deborah and Amy, could watch it, and you said, well, it's about aliens that take over humans, and just based on that, I knew what was going on at the beginning, but they kind of give it away at the very beginning when that spaceship, shoots down into Earth. But I think if I hadn't known, I wouldn't have realized what was going on with the dog. But based on what you told me about the movie, I knew instantly from the opening sequence, okay, the dog's got the alien in him. And
so that's actually one of my first notes is you don't speak Norwegian. If you did, they say, get the hell out of there. That's not a dog. It's some sort of thing. Oh. It's imitating a dog. It isn't real. Get away, you idiots.
Wow. Okay. So one of the things I thought towards the end of the movie was, why didn't the Norwegians just tell them what was going on instead of just
they did
chasing this dog? Yeah, they did. They just couldn't speak English.
Yeah. So a much different experience if you're Norwegian watching this movie. Yeah, so you have any notes on the beginning as far as that goes?
When Kurt Russell was introduced, my mother-in-law said that this is hearsay times 2. She was in Vegas, I think she said, with some friends, and they were filming one of Kurt Russell's earlier movies, and one of her friends was in the bar where Kurt Russell and the cast was, and she tried to speak to him, and he was like really rude to her. So Amy's mom has a poor opinion of Kurt Russell based on that. I met one of my childhood idols when I was young. Grew up in contemporary Christian music. My dad was a general manager of a Christian radio station, and one of my favorite artists was Chris Rice. And I met him, and I kind of had the same experience. He was really standoffish, but in my later years, as I've learned about kind of who he is and how he feels about the industry, I kind of have a lot more respect for him. But I can relate to having kind of this, high opinion of someone, meeting them in public, them not wanting to interact with you, and having a low opinion of them as a result. But I've always loved Kurt Russell.
Same here.
Probably my favorite role of his, unpopular opinion, Vanilla Sky. Have you seen? You haven't seen the one with him in it, yeah. He plays this really great, he's a doctor kind of / father figure, and I love his role in that movie. That was the first role I really loved of his. But
Bone Tomahawk?
Everything else, he was great in Bone Tomahawk. He kind of grounded Bone Tomahawk, great flick, as well, as a result of kind of him in the cast that kind of just
or Hateful Eight
expectations of Dan's doing the mustache wax right now, whatever he does. Love that,
flourishes it.
But
it's
yeah,
so good.
The great example. You're naming off movies that instantly he's recognizable in. Great actor, I love him. So I love the opening, probably the first 20 or so minutes of the movie. Very moody, doesn't give you too much information, kind of lets you experience it as the characters are experiencing it. Great shots. I like the sign on the helicopter, danger tail rotor. And that's all it says, danger tail rotor. But nowadays signs are like danger finger chopper offer.
Yeah. It was the 80s. It was a different time.
The setting, Amy kind of mentioned that it reminded her of 28 Days of Nights. Again, this movie reminds us of movies that came after this movie, but they're the ones we saw because we're younger. 28 Days of Night, I don't know if you ever saw that.
Yep.
Terrible movie. Didn't enjoy it, but was really excited about it when I initially saw it. And it has a great, Alaskan setting.
Well, it's based off a comic, actually.
So what are they do? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I knew that.
It's just a research station. I've never read the book, and they don't explain it, implicitly.
We're talking about the thing now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So so they're researching.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I like the still shots, like early in the what are we calling it? The station, the research station.
Yeah, it's Outpost 31,
an outpost.
I believe.
Okay. I love the still shots of that after McCready and the doc have gone out to. So they're checking on the Norwegians' camp.
Yes.
So they knew who that was.
Well, when they see the helicopter, he goes, "It says Nord something."
Okay.
And he goes, "Oh, it's the Norwegians."
That's how they know.
And then
the Swedes.
Yeah,
it's Norwegians.
They're Norwegians. And then they go to investigate their camp and see what happened because they're like, "Oh, it says here they'd only been there for 18 months or whatever, or
right.
eight weeks. It wasn't enough to go crazy."
Right.
But they're all hypothesizing what happened.
Right. Well, they do a lot of that in this. They do a lot of assuming bold assumptions and acting on those assumptions as though they are 100% fact. I like the misdirection, like after those still shots in their research station. What is it? Unit 41, 31?
31. I believe it's Outpost 31.
Outpost 31, we'll call it that.
You just say Outpost.
Outpost. In the outpost. The dog, like the shadow of the dog approaches the shadow of the pothead. I'd never caught his name.
Palmer?
Yeah, and he turns around and you think, okay, he's dead, and the next time we see him. But no, it was just kind of this eerie. It was a favor to the viewer, I think.
So the chef character, or the guy in the kitchen, he says Buana a couple times.
Marijuana?
No, Buana, B-W-A-N-A.
Buana?
Yeah. He says it like 2 or 3 times, and I was like, what is that?
In response to what? Like, it just as an exclamation? Or?
Yeah, he just says it like, the guy like is yelling at him to tell him to turn off the radio, and he goes, all right, Buana, something like that. And I'm like, what is that? And so it's actually East African for boss or master.
Okay.
So it's kind of funny.
So was he talking to the dude with the gray eyebrows? The dude...
whoever tells him to go to sleep, it's the guy that got shot.
Okay. Everybody gets shot.
The first guy that got shot.
With something.
By the Norwegian.
When they go to the Norwegians outpost, I love the set design of that.
So
you
that
can
is,
tell some shit went down.
That's actually the base at the end of the movie.
They reused it. That's smart. Because you wouldn't know watching it.
Exactly.
Thought it was interesting that they decided not to show their breath. Like later in the movie when they're outside in the cold, you can see their breath. But in this set that you can't see their breath. So it's something they didn't add in, and it's an indoor set, I'm assuming. Like just an oversight.
No, as far as I know, everything was outside because they were talking about they spent like $75,000 just on keeping everybody warm.
Wow.
From where they filmed it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And it was like 0 to 15, like below 15 or something like that.
Dang.
Yeah.
So it's like The Revenant 30 years ago.
Yeah.
They walk in and they see the frozen corpse with like the frozen blood dripping down. And the doc's response is, my God, what the hell happened here? My response would be, nope. Let's go.
Well, that's like anything in horror movies. We're just watching something recently, and the guy like pokes it with a stick. Oh, we watch Species.
Yeah, right.
The guy, the woman walks over it. I'm like, yeah, that'd be me. I'd be poking it with a stick.
The music, like when they go up to that rectangular igloo structure and they look into it, the music is just fantastic. Music throughout the movie, very moody, loved it. Over dramatic, but on point. I love after at the end of this scene, the editing so far in the movie has been really concise. There's not really any wasted time. A lot has happened so far, but it's all happened within a matter of 15, 20 minutes, which I really liked. When they take the body back to their outpost, place it on the table, and there's smoke coming out kind of the table instead of from the body. Amy's mom said there's someone under the table just smoking a bunch of cigarettes. That's how they did this effect back then. They approached the guy, was it Clark? The radio operator, is that Clark?
That's Windows.
They approach him for the second or third time and ask him, if he's gotten anyone. And you just completely overreact. He's just the most angry man in the movie. And Amy was like, it's your job to sit there and just wait for someone to answer you. Don't be so angry, dude.
Well, you don't know how long they've been there for.
Well, that's true.
And then he was saying it had been 3 weeks since they had contacted anybody.
Yeah.
And the guy was kind of like, well, I got to get somebody down the line.
That's true. And you have to think, I guess, in his position, hey, if I hear anybody, you can bet your ass I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. And that's how I would take it. But yeah, this is a lot of overreaction.
Right.
So.
A lot of it. The dog's owner, that's Clark. Clark is the bearded dude, yeah. He takes the dog into the kennel right before we see the thing for the first time. And Amy, we were all thinking, that's a really well-trained dog. He just kind of slowly eases his way in there, creepily staring at the wall.
Yeah, they said that dog was named Jed. And he was a wolf husky mix, and he wouldn't look at anybody on the set.
Wow,
he was just really well trained.
They were okay. They were like, yeah, he's the thing.
Yeah, no, they're just he wouldn't look at the camera or anything like that. I mean,
And then he slowly turns into Spider Dog, and Amy said, if the thing looks like a spider, I can't watch the rest of this movie. And I said, I think Dan would have noted that. He would have said that you can't watch this movie as a result. But this is the beginning of this praise for this movie is the creature design is absolutely fantastic. Every time it showed some sort of transformation or some sort of reveal of the thing, it was always something really fresh, new, And even now, like watching it, if they filmed it, last year and it's, clearly not computer animation, I would have gone, how are they doing this? So it's especially impressive 34 years ago that they were able to do what they were able to do.
Practical effects, I mean...
Oh, you can't
and the
beat
guy who did this, killed himself doing it, pretty much. He was 22. He pretty much lived on set, they said.
Wow.
He spent months doing some of these effects. They invented, stuff just for this. And he was, got exhaustion from doing this, and he had to, go off set for a while.
Dang.
And they had, another animator come in and help.
That's crazy.
Or effects artist, should say.
Just so creepy, so effective. And just amazing that they were able to do this.
And then I guess they did some claymated stuff, which you see at the end a little bit. Mm-hmm. And Carpenter didn't like it though.
Oh, really?
So they cut it out.
So there's no claymation in the movie?
At the very end, there is a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But I guess there was a lot more or something.
When it revealed the thing for the first time, after it had come out of the dog and they all come over, he's pointing the flamethrower at Amy said, I understand why they call it the thing. There are just far too many attributes to name it anything in particular. But it's a really cool concept because as you learn after you've watched the movie that it's a host that is mimicking what it's taking over, and so you can kind of see every time it transforms little bits of attributes of the beings it was trying to mimic and didn't quite get all the way. You can see the attributes of the dog in it throughout the movie and the people that it tries to mimic. Two people I recognized in the next scene, Wilford Brimley without a mustache. Yep. He spoke, and I was like, that's Wilford Brimley. And Amy was like, that would be funny. And I was like, I'm looking it up. Looked it up, Wilford Brimley. And then Keith David didn't realize it again until he spoke and you saw his teeth.
He was young in that movie, too. I think he said he was 20, between 22 and 24.
That's crazy. I assumed he was never young.
Yeah, I love Keith David.
What did we see most?
There was a couple people up for that role. Uh-huh. Ernie Hudson was one of them. From Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I can't remember who the other one was. And then same thing with McCready. Jeff Bridges turned down the role.
Oh, wow.
And
I could see that.
There's somebody else that was kind of oh, that's funny.
So,
and then they had John Wayne, I think they said was on the list of people.
So Keith David's character is probably the only character in the movie I had any sort of connection with. So that's one of my issues with the movie. And it's typical of horror movies, especially older horror movies, that these characters are just vehicles, for the carnage that's going to ensue. The main character, of course, is the thing. Mm-hmm. But I felt like Keith David's character was really the only one I had. I felt like he's going to make it. He has the most common sense out of everybody else. He was the only one, not so much that if he died, I really wouldn't have cared. And I felt that way about all the characters, but I felt, kind of a connection with his common sense.
Mm-hmm. So on the table, they actually used real animal parts for the autopsy.
Wow.
And Wilford Brimley was the only one that wasn't disgusted by it. I guess he was actually a real cowboy before he was an actor.
Oh, okay.
And would regularly do that.
Yeah.
As far as skinning and stuff.
So in hindsight, I realize here that the aliens really got unlucky in where they landed. They landed in the middle of nowhere with these characters that are not really going anywhere. So if the aliens had landed in the middle of New York, then the whole world would have been...
They landed, at the beginning of the movie. It's 100,000 years ago, though.
Right. Well, okay, touche. So, did they say that?
Well, when they reviewing the footage or whatever of them uncovering it, and they said... Or they're looking at it, and it's it's been here for at least 100,000 years.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
But that, I thought was more of a bold assumption than anything else. But I guess based on how deep the ice was, is where they based that on.
Yeah.
All right, well, touche. I guess when they landed, it was just dinosaurs, and they were just... Oh! So at the end of the movie, the final thing that you see, I was like, when did it take over a T-Rex? Because that's what it looks like right now. I guess, that explains it. It doesn't. They were frozen.
Well, you don't know how long it took to freeze.
That's true.
And if there was the Ice Age or whatever, you don't know, man.
Yeah, it was right before the Ice Age. They were just like, T-Rex? Oh, shit. So then Blair is just going apeshit on his lab.
Yeah, because he's destroying everything.
Destroying stuff with his hammer. Did they really say why? I didn't really get the motivation there.
He is doing research on the thing.
He's doing...
And calculates it would take 3 years.
With that cool little Atari program that he has.
3 years for the thing to take over the world. Mm-hmm. And then, so he's like, it can't get to, outside of here.
Yeah.
So he destroys all his equipment. Because we will assume up to this point that he's still human.
So McCready is recording his log in case someone finds them and they're all dead.
Why
and
does
then
he rewind?
Yeah, he says nobody trusts anybody anymore, and then he rewinds it and then records over that. I thought that was an interesting. I like to assume by the end of the movie, we'll talk about this when we get to the end of the movie, that he is.
We'll talk about it then.
Hosted.
We'll talk about it then.
All right.
Also, Mac and Windows.
I didn't catch Mac. I caught Windows at the end because it was on the Petri dish, and I was like, "Oh, his name's Windows." I never caught that through.
Well,
very hard keeping up with the characters'
and
names.
they call him Mac like right at the beginning.
Okay,
but
McCready, yeah.
But it's 1982, so it was 2 years before Apple came out, and 3 years before Windows. So it's just a coincidence.
That's creepy.
What's his face has a heart attack, and they're going to resuscitate him, and then the guy gets his hands bit off.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Like that's the coolest creature scene.
That's like the most famous scene, I'd say. But the guy, he gets his hands bit off, double amputee, with a mask on.
Yeah.
But like everybody's looking at the gore, so you don't pay attention to the face.
Right. Oh. They put a mask on him? What do you mean?
Yeah, so they had like a different actor come in with like a likeness
a
mask.
double amputee
And a
was
double
the
amputee.
stunt double with his mask on. Oh, and you don't notice because,
Yeah.
That was the coolest creature design, like the head just kind of like pulling itself off, and then upside down spider head, which Amy refused to watch. Really cool. But like this creature is so stupid. Like they make a lot of assumptions at the end of the movie about its intelligence and what it's planning to do to try to survive beyond this incident. And the creature, as the head, crawls away. Nobody notices it. It's stealthy as hell. And then just turns around and is like, I'm going to just stare at you guys until you notice me and shoot me with a flamethrower. And
right, so this is part of...
That bugged me.
This is part of like the fan theory stuff. We'll get into that at the end.
Okay.
Because I figured that would be the brunt of our conversation.
That'll be cool. McCready's speech about how the we as humans have tissue that is a separate part of us, whereas this is one complete organism. And he is assuming that if the blood responds to heat, then it's going to make the whole organism respond, and then they will weed out who is affected and who is not. And it's at this point that it becomes clear what the movie is telling us, or what these characters believe, is that they are playing host to this creature and they don't know it, so they're going to try to find out. So I started thinking, what if McCready is already playing host and he knows it? So the alien is taking control of him so much that he is aware that he is no longer McCready and is tricking everybody, basically.
That's another question, too.
That's what I like to assume.
We'll talk about. The blood test scene is actually what sold Carpenter on the film.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently he was always like a big fan of the original one and the novel itself. Or book, short story, whatever.
Is it it's a short story?
I'm not sure. I haven't read it.
By Stephen King?
Yes, by Stephen King.
Is it?
No. I said it was John W. Campbell Jr.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't listening.
Of course.
It's random, though, when McCready's holding the blood at one point, it's just his hand. It's a fake hand. Yeah. Why?
Because I don't know. Because I don't know.
Why not?
But it was weird because he does like the first 3 tests on the table.
Yeah.
And then
he just picks it up with his fake hand.
Yeah.
I just picture him holding a hand.
It's just really weird. Because like he does the first couple of them on the table and then like picks them up and does the tests.
And then
from then on out.
He picks up Windows Petri dish, puts it in, and then Windows just automatically reacts. And I was confused about what was supposed to happen. Amy goes, that escalated quickly, because just Windows just explodes into the alien. And
no,
then it's
that was
the organism is reacting.
That's Palmer that does
God,
that.
All right, whatever, whoever it was, someone exploded into red Caro syrup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he knows what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's another part of fan theory stuff that we'll talk about.
Ah, come on. Damn it.
We'll get to it.
Damn it. Just skip to the end. Okay.
Well, I mean, this is essentially the ending.
So then they go and they're looking for Blair again, and he's dug a tunnel underneath his cell in like 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Or was this tunnel already
it's over
there?
3 days.
But this is like the last day. Come on.
Mm-hmm. But he's been there for 2 days at least now or something like that.
But you still can't dig a tunnel through ice in that amount of time.
He's an alien.
He's an alien.
You don't know.
You don't know how he did it, dude?
Yeah, that's like one thing that's kind of ridiculous. That's my biggest problem with the plot.
And then this is another really bold assumption where McCready, someone says that, I think it's McCready, that the creature wants to freeze itself so that it can come back after this incident is over. And I'm going, this thing like was a head escaped from you guys and then just turned around and let you torch it. Like, this thing's not that smart.
Well, it makes sense what he's saying, because if it survived 100,000 years.
Well, yeah.
And it would, and let's assume it's intelligent, it was going to have a rescue. It would assume a rescue team was going to come and recover the body.
Oh, they thought they meant an alien rescue team, because I was thinking their rescue team. Yeah, that's what I assumed. Yeah. So I thought where the movie was going at this point was that they were coming to the same end as the Norwegians, and then they were going to run maybe to another outpost, and then we were going to see kind of the same thing happen, and then it's kind of this cycle until either the thing gets to more people or ends itself.
No, that's like all the other media they've done for it. There's been comics and stuff, and that's all kind of how that goes, though.
Yeah.
But
so they're blowing up their whole place. They don't know where this thing is, but they're just blowing up the whole place just in case, just to get rid of it. But if they really thought that it was trying to freeze itself for the rescue party, why would it be in the base? Like, why wouldn't it have just gone? If Blair is an alien and he can dig a tunnel that fast, why don't they assume that it's gone and dug itself another tunnel, and they're all going to kill themselves and the thing's going to survive? Yeah. I guess they're at their wits' end.
Well, because they weren't going to survive anyway. Because he had taken the generator.
Yeah. Okay. So, but still, like,
I'm not saying it.
If I was in that situation, I would make more of an effort to find it, to draw it out, so that you could be sure you're killing it instead of just let's blow everything up. But again, in this situation, you don't know where your mind's at, so I guess I could put myself there.
My biggest thing against McCready being an alien is he kills the alien at the very end.
Well, yeah. Well, sort of like in a last-ditch effort. Like, he lights the dynamite, and then he's just holding it. I'm like, you probably should have thought about where you're going to throw this before you lit it. And then...
Well, he heard the noise.
And then the thing is a tremor. And then it comes out, and I'm like, when did it take over a T-Rex? Now I know. And then, so the ending of the movie, this was what aired it more on the side of negative for me. Up to this point, it was half and half. The creature design, amazing. Music, fantastic. Good actors. Okay acting. Dialogue was but I mean, that's typical of an older movie like this. And then just the logic, like the story itself. The premise is fantastic. The creature design is fantastic. But the story itself was kind of that they built around it. But then the ending, like, they could have done so many different things at the ending, and they chose to end it just so not. I didn't even think it was ambiguous. I just thought it was, these two guys are just gonna lie here and die, and maybe the thing is still out there, maybe it's not. Yeah. Although McCready gives kind of this look, like, towards right before the end, that's like, ooh, what is it? But it still wasn't. They could have done so much more with it, and I don't even think it was. I think it was right before the line of ambiguity where you could make a lot of assumptions about the movie. I just felt like the ending was lazy, personally. But
I don't know. Like, I like the ending because it ends whatever. At the end, nothing matters that they did.
Well, yeah,
possibly
that could be the case.
So there are like three different theories would make sense. Childs is an alien.
Yeah.
McCready's an alien, or neither of them are an alien.
Right. You said either or neither? Neither, yeah. I felt like the neither was where the movie was. Like, that's where they left it.
So, there's a lot of different things, even on the end of the actors and director. There is a statement by John Carpenter where he says it should be obvious, because look at their breaths. One of them's not breathing.
Oh, so and which one's not
Childs
breathing?
Doesn't have... visible breath.
Okay.
But a lot of people take into account the 2011 movie, in which I guess they said they can't reproduce inorganic matter, which would make sense why they're changing clothes and stuff. But Child still has his earring in, so we're like, no, he can't be an alien.
Oh, because he has his earring. Okay. But that could have just been an oversight in 1982.
Because before this movie was made.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be hard, I guess, for an alien to be like, oh, earring.
Yeah. Well, pick up a piece of copper off the ground.
So biggest thing for Childs is what he says is out of character for him in regards to how he's acted previously. Because when McCready comes, he's like, oh, just leave him out there. We'll let him freeze to death. But then he says he thought he saw Blair running around. outside and then would go outside to chase him.
Yeah.
So it's out of character at that point.
Why? What?
Because he says if you see Blair Burnham, but he has already previously, when there was like 4 against 1, not wanted to go outside to kill MacReady.
Okay. Well, that's again. I think that's more of an oversight.
Well, I mean, like that could
a
be
character
poor,
oversight.
That
I
could
didn't
be
think
poor
the
writing.
characters were consistent. Yeah, that's how I saw it.
So the MacReady thing, I think there's a lot more stretches in saying that he's an alien.
Yeah.
Especially just because of like.
Here's my big question. I forgot to ask this during our discussion, but does he test his blood?
Yeah.
Okay, that was the thing I kept. We were all
because I
asking.
want to show you what I already know.
And Amy and her mom. Okay, I thought that was Clark's blood that he said that on, like after the fact, because Amy and her mom, we were all talking about it, and I
no, because then he says we'll check Clark's blood, and then he goes, "Oh, that makes you a murderer."
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay,
because he had shot him in the.
That's right. Yeah, but maybe I thought it was Windows. I keep confusing.
No, he's
Windows
the first
for
one
Clark. Okay, so he does test his own. Okay,
so
I thought he didn't, and I thought that was why it was
3 people. The other 2 people that are on the plane are confirmed as the aliens. Mm-hmm. So everybody was saying if at least one of them was, they all 3 probably got turned at that point.
The 2 people on the plane
or the helicopter.
Oh, okay.
So MacReady, the doctor, and the other dude.
Okay, so they got taken by the alien when they were researching the Norwegians' outpost.
The second time when they leave.
Okay.
So they were saying they were probably all aliens at that point because it was the only 3 people that for like sure were all like verified as aliens.
Yeah.
He kills the other aliens to gain trust essentially. Mm-hmm. So like the 2 people he kills and like the blood test scene and then the alien before that would make sense. But then I said like the last alien doesn't make sense for me to him to kill.
So you think the theory is the thing is hurting itself to gain trust.
Yes.
Okay.
And then there's the theory about the blood test is that he knows it won't, but he has the other alien Palmer sacrifice himself.
And did Palmer know that was going to happen?
Well, I guess
or is it all
you'd
one?
assume they're like
all one organism. Yeah.
But I don't know.
That's interesting. And I understand now why the movie is such a big deal, because in 1982 it was obviously a very big accomplishment and left these strings untied. I just think it would have been a better movie if they had tied those strings, or at least left a little bit. I think that foresight wasn't even there on the director's behalf.
I think John Carpenter's a pretty solid director.
Oh, he is.
Like,
I don't think the foresight of this is what's going on was there. Although you said that John Carpenter has stated that it's obvious that. So basically, John Carpenter says that it's Child's. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I wouldn't. And so but it seems like all he threw in there was him not breathing, and then boom, there it is.
Yeah. But then I said if he's talking about Childs also changes his clothing.
Okay.
So he's wearing a different color. He's wearing a different colored jumper or whatever parka at that point. Yeah. Than he was in the other scene.
Okay. Well, that's another reason.
If you see too, they were all the jackets were rearranged.
Oh, okay.
From when he leaves to when they come back in. There's a few theories about this. Is MacReady's sitting there with the bottle in his hand, and he hands it to Childs. There's theories that it's one of the Molotov cocktails.
Yeah.
And the thing wouldn't know what whiskey tasted like or liquor.
So he just drinks it. And then that look from MacReady was, I'm about to burn you, dude.
And, so like you wouldn't know what it
That's a cool
like.
Theory. I like that.
And, like there's no real founding on that one.
Right.
Because if you see the Molotov cocktails, they're all in like the JB bottles, but they don't have labels on them.
Yeah.
Where that one clearly
So there's a hole in every theory. Even John Carpenter's claim that Childs is this.
And then the other big thing was saying like, because it mirrors the chess at the beginning of he was cheating.
Oh, because he's spelling and
then giving him the drink.
Because the alien's cheating. Mm-hmm.
But also the music cues in that part too.
Yeah.
Because when he drinks it, like it's like really welling music, and then and then like MacReady laughs, and that's the end of the movie.
That's interesting. I'll have to watch that end sequence again just to see if I catch any of that. I think it could have been like a science fiction clue. I just think all the characters needed to have more profound attributes. They were obviously individual characters with individual tics, but they didn't have these really clear attributes that made them unique and identifiable and relatable, which is what I really wanted out of the characters. And if they had done that, if they had done better with the characters, I think then they could have played kind of this who is it game, and then at the end could have just revealed not necessarily clearly, here's who it is, but where you could talk about it at the end and, here it's this kind of... I don't think it benefited from having this supposed ambiguity that I personally didn't even see. So that was what I wanted out of it when the movie, kind of got into its...
No, it's valid. I said, it's definitely something I'd seen before, I thought. So there's that tinge of, rose-colored, nostalgia glass kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I can definitely always see the faults in things, too.
Right.
And, it's definitely not, the strongest written thing ever.
Right.
I also think that's part of the times, as you said before, too, though.
And that's too bad, because I have seen, when we watched The Running Man, I thought that subverted my expectations of, although that movie I was expecting not to like it, and I really liked it. This movie I expected to like because someone really close to me had a really high opinion of it, and so I expected to like it based on that. So maybe it's that balance of expectations versus,
definitely
building it up over time.
Yeah, I mean, if it's really just character development, you have to too. It's clocking in at an hour and 30. Like you said, they did a lot in that short amount of time.
Right.
It's more. I think it focuses more on the suspense and
early in the movie, that was what they did. Was really a lot happened in a short amount of time. But then as the movie went on, I felt there was a lot more wasted, moments that were just.
But I think
there
that's what I was saying. It's supposed to be more about the tension
for the sake of suspense. But every time it revealed the creature, coming forth or being dispatched of in whatever way, those moments were really entertaining, really cool to see, not just as a relic of their time, but because they're still impressive today. So that's what I did appreciate about the movie.
Yeah, I guess they actually, I don't remember if it was the same team or not, did a bunch of practical effects for the Thing 2011.
Oh, really?
And then none of them were used, apparently.
What the heck? They learned nothing. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to watch that. I'm curious now.
Yeah, I'll watch it with you sometime, for sure.
All right, so rating?
It's a 4 for me. I'm sounding what are you, a 2.5?
2. It was 2.5, pretty much throughout the movie. Then last 20 minutes was just kind of didn't go anywhere for me. So a 2. Enjoyed what I enjoyed about it, but the downsides kind of overruled the entire experience.
I definitely understand that.
Yeah, but I'm glad I finally got to see it, and I'm glad we finally have a cool little sounder.
What did your wife and mother-in-law think?
They didn't give me a rating. I need to remember to ask them because I think from here on out they're going to be watching the movie with me. We make it our Monday night ritual. I think their opinion was the same. I think they'd probably give it a 1.5, maybe a 1. We laughed a lot during the movie because of just some of the things they'd say and the assumptions they would come to. It was entertaining. We all watched it, pretty consistently throughout the movie. We paid attention to it.
Yeah, my only thing with that is, like you said, there's so many movies. I feel like this is inspired, and then you having watched them now.
Yeah, too. Well, that's true. This clearly inspired one of my favorite movies of all time, which is Signs. So I do, again, this was a movie I was always going to watch. I just had built it up as something in my head that delivered in the ways I thought it would, but I didn't think about, plot and where that was going to go, and that ultimately brought the movie down for me. So I did not pick a movie for next week. Is there something in particular you want to watch that I've seen? Because that's what we did this week. Did you think of something? You're laughing.
Signs.
Do you want to watch Signs?
Kinda. Was
that originally going to be, or just because us talking about it?
No, we were talking about it, and I was thinking, but I know you also said you kind of don't want me to watch it because you assume I'm going to it.
Well, you've already said so many things about what you know about it, which is a shame. But yeah, absolutely, let's watch Signs. I always want to watch that movie. I watched it probably, I want to say it was a year or two ago, and it's still just one of my favorite movies. I every time you watch a movie like that, you're like, I haven't seen this in 5 years. This could be terrible now. No, it's aged so well for me. So yeah, absolutely. Let's watch Signs. I'm down with that. All right, thank you guys so much for listening once again to Show and Tell. We're gonna watch Signs next week. Hope you'll watch the flick, tune in, jump in the comments, let us know what you think of the movie, our show. My name is Jesse Hughes.
And I am Daniel A. Gilmore.